KTM PDS race shop bikes have a bearing in the swing arm called a Heim joint, which if you ride your bike a lot will probably need replacing after about a year. If you don't ride it so much, after about 2 years or 3 years. But it's a press fit, so you need to press out the bearing, and to install a new bearing you need to press it in. This tool can be used for both operations. Here you can see all the components included in the press tool. The main parts are machined from 6061 aluminium bar, including the head spacer, the press tool, the bearing collar and the bearing cup. The tool you can see now, it's set up for pressing out the old bearing, and I'll explain the components. This is the press tool bolts, and there's a spacer here to space the head out away from the press tool. The press tool, depending on the orientation, right now it's set up so it can press out old bearing. If you turn it round, you can use it to install a new bearing, and I'll show that later. This is a bearing collar to center the bolts in the bearing, and there's a bearing cup here, which if I turn it around you can see it's hollow inside, so the old bearing can be pressed into this space. And then there's just a nut and washer on the end. This is the press tool set up to install a new bearing. The bearing sits on the bearing collar in the middle, and the press tool is flipped around from bearing removal. And one important feature is it features a press stop. So this is machined precisely to center the bearing in the middle of the swing arm. This is a big advantage over a method, for example, hammering in a bearing, where you'd need to hammer it in, take some measurements each side and figure out how close to the center it is and make adjustments. It also presses in the bearing square, minimizing any chance of damage to the swing arm and bearing. 3 different kits are available depending on what year bike you have. The press tool on the left is for model years up to 2016. The one in the middle is for 2017 plus models. And then I'm going to be doing a kit which includes both of the press tools if you have several different year model bikes. I'm also going to be making a video to show how to use the tool, and if you're interested in purchasing the tool, please check out the Tokyo Offroad web shop.